Sure about this?
No.
There are films that fade into obscurity, and then there are films that refuse to die. In 2005, Constantine arrived, a supernatural noir drenched in shadows, faith, and fate. It was divisive, it was misunderstood, and yet, 20 years later, it's more beloved than ever. What made Constantine so special? And why does its legend only grow? Let's step into the darkness and find out. Some films get better with age. Constantine is one of them. When it was released, critics were lukewarm. The box office was solid, but it wasn't a massive hit. And yet, over the last 2 decades, this film has become a cult phenomenon.
Over the last 20 years, I would travel around the world and everybody would have Constantine DVDs. And you're like, wow, there's a lot of Constantine fans. And you just feel that sort of growing love for this movie.
Even Rotten Tomatoes had to admit they got it wrong. So what changed? Maybe audiences finally saw what the filmmakers saw. A supernatural noir that defied convention and embraced its own mythos. In the comics, John Constantine is a British, blonde, chain-smoking occultist. In the film, Keanu Reeves made him American, dark-haired and brooding. It was a controversial choice, but it worked.
Why do I love Constantine? I love his anger. I love his humor. He's not the nicest guy. He was very film noir, and every day was this wonderful mixture of production design and cinematography and writing, performance. It was the best of what you hope for in making a movie.
At the time, Francis Lawrence was an unknown filmmaker. Constantine was his first feature film, and yet, his vision for the film was so precise, so confident, that it shaped the film's lasting impact.
It took me 9 months to get the job. I had done primarily music videos, and I had to convince all these different people that I was responsible and had a vision, and my last meeting was going to be Keanu.
Yeah.
But he had said, no music video directors. And so I was like,
Oh my God.
but
Yeah.
luckily I passed the test.
Your take on the film, I liked it so much. I felt very confident in a way. It was just like, let's go.
Behind every wall, every window, the world behind the world.
What I think interested me and Akiva and Keanu is this idea of the world behind the world.
And that was the magic of Constantine, a world where the supernatural felt eerily real, as if it had always been lurking just beneath the surface.
In the original version of the script that I read, hell was like a black void. It was like sort of oily floors and piles of and things like that. We had to find fresh ways into things like Satan, hell. In discussions with Akiva early on, wouldn't it be interesting if there's a hell version of where you are and a heaven version of where you are?
There's a reason Constantine looks so unique. It's what cinematographer Philippe Rousselot called saturated noir. Deep blacks, heavy greens, shadows that swallow characters whole.
There's a neo-noir feel despite the color palette. And that's part of the cleverness and part of what is special about the movie. It's a saturated noir, if there is such a thing.
You'll notice in the film, the blacks are super saturated, so that gives a heavy bottom note to everything. Playing the green heavily gives you a quality that's a little bit underwater. It lends itself to feeling like you're rolling around in the gutter on a great day.
Hello, John.
How do you make the devil feel fresh? We've seen the horned beast, the seductive tempter, the smooth talker. But Constantine gave us something different. Peter Stormare's Satan, an unsettling mix of charm and menace.
Francis said to all of us, "I have found my Satan." We're thinking of some version of Tim Curry endlessly, or some monster, and Francis brings in Peter Stormare. He just, in that very steadfast, determined, but kindly unyielding way, said, "I really believe in this." And we all went, "Okay, just be right." And he was, extraordinarily so.
John Constantine, your soul truly belongs in hell.
For years, fans have been asking, will we ever get a Constantine 2? And the answer might finally be yes.
Maybe we can get some new audiences in, or just have a higher resolution version for the fans that have been loving this movie for the last 20 years. I think it's all really exciting.
One last show.
20 years later, Constantine remains a masterpiece of mood and myth, a film that took risks, defied expectations, and left an unforgettable mark on cinema. And maybe, just maybe, John Constantine isn't done with us yet. Did Constantine deserve better? Do you want a sequel? Let's keep the conversation alive. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the shadows, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, stay curious, stay fearless, and keep believing in the power of stories.